My heart rages around like an ocean in my head, because there are so many things that I left unsaid. I can almost feel you walking in the distance, but I know that is not reality. If you are echoing around inside these parallel dimensions all alone, now I'll find you in my dreams. My heart rages around like an ocean in my head. I can almost feel you walking in the distance, but I know that is not reality. If you are echoing around inside these parallel dimensions all alone, now I'll find you in my dreams. I can almost feel you walking in the distance, but I know that is not reality.
I'm always digging on that 30-second timer, man. Hey, good morning. Good morning, good morning. It is, I believe, Thursday. Let me double check. It is Thursday. It's Thursday. Good morning, everyone. Are we ready for day number 3 of this Hot Mess Express? Hey, Becky Gifford. Hello and welcome. Welcome. Hello. Hey, sweet Sherry. Chrissy. Hi, Chrissy. Welcome. She says, first time here. Kathy sent me from GRI. Kathy. Sweet Kathy. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. Welcome. Hey, C. Morales. Welcome back today. Welcome back. Oh, the song. The song. Isn't that cute? I just switched over to that as my intro song about a week ago, I think, ish. It's a song that's in the YouTube library. Let me see what the name of it is. It is called La- Lost Sky Dreams Part 2. It's in the YouTube music library for creators stuffs I found, so I don't know. But yeah, Lost Sky Dreams Part 2. That's all I got. That's all I got for you. It is a pretty good song though. Honestly, the reason I went with that song is because where she says, I can almost see you in the distance, you know, there's just certain words that she says in the song that makes me think of past loved ones. Like coming from the perspective of people who have lost people that they love. You know what I'm saying? Like the families of the victims we watch these trials of all the time. Ugh. Anyway. So, welcome, welcome, welcome. Hey, Henny. Hello, good morning. Good afternoon to Henny. Or evening. It is 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 p.m. for Henny. Hey, Margaret. Good morning, dearie. Brenda. Working and lurking. You work and lurk away, ma'am. Work and lurk away. All right. Well, we are going to get started. Now, where we ended last night, it was in that long break, that long stretch break at the end of the day where the judge, we were waiting on the judge to come back because they were talking about whether or not they were going to let that CSAM stuff come in again. So the judge denied it again, and the witness that was on the stand, the guardian ad litem, the one that had the cute little houndstooth black and white jacket on with the cute little blonde bob and all the things, the defense asked her a handful more questions, and that was it. Literally, that was it. It was nothing. We waited all that time for them to come back and ask her 3 or 4 more questions that were really nothing, and then he dismissed the court. So, that's all it was. Nothing to speak of, so to say. Nothing to speak of. Afternoon, yes, said Henny. Afternoon. Kat, Coco, hi and welcome. Gossip, rumor, and innuendo sent me. God love. Well, welcome, welcome. There are a handful more that have popped in today from GRI. Margaret's getting spoiled. She's in the passenger seat again. She's getting chauffeured to her new workplace. Marsh 13, GRI sent you too. Wow. Welcome, welcome. Thank you, Kathy. If you happen to see this, thank you for sending people over here. I appreciate that so much. Hey, sweet Donnie. All right, let me get my trigger warner. I have trouble saying that. Trigger warning banner up. And I will share my screen and we will get started because they've already got their first person on the screen today. Or on the stand. Sorry. Share. Here we go. Hey, Pen Pal. Welcome, welcome. You're new too? Glad to have you join. All right. I'm going to add this, and then we will get started. Good morning, Pilola. I got to go work on mine too. I got to get stuff. The headache is gone today. Well, it was gone this morning, Pilola, but it's kind of making its way downtown. It's and I'm having a little upset belly this morning too. I don't know what that's about, but anyway, yeah, let's get on with it. Let's get on with it. Let's get it on. Ooh. Judge looks so serious this morning. He has a routine. This is like the second or third time I've seen him open up a small bottle of water and pour it in a styrofoam cup of ice. Cracks me up. Hey, Morgana. Good morning, Morgana. Donnie, did I say hi to you, ma'am? If I missed anyone, my apologies. Yeah, we have lots of new faces in here today, Pilola, right? Lots of new faces. Gotta love that. Thank you guys for joining.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Aurelia, hey, girlfriend. Hey, hey. Work and watch away, ma'am. Work and watch away. Okay, I did say hi, good. Happy Galentine's Eve Day.
Good morning. Hope y'all had a good night's rest. I wanted to ask, has anyone seen any type of coverage on this or done any type of investigation? If so, please raise your hand. Okay, just want to note for the record that all the jury indicated that they had not seen
I did.
or investigated. State, please proceed.
Your Honor, may it please the court, the state calls Daniel Bevel.
Daniel Bevel.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Please state your name for the record.
Daniel Bevel,
Mr. Bevel, what's your rank?
investigator.
Investigator?
Yes, sir.
All right. Investigator Bevel, where are you employed?
The Greenville County Sheriff's Office.
And what do you do for the Greenville County Sheriff's Office?
I'm an investigator, and basically my role is I assist other investigators in interviewing anybody with their cases. That could be witnesses, suspects, just to help further their cases.
Have you had any other prior duties with the Greenville County Sheriff's Department?
Yes, sir.
What are those?
Everything from patrol to crimes against children investigations.
So, did you ever have the occasion to meet with Christina Parcell and Brad Post?
I did.
Do you remember about when that occurred?
Originally, I believe it was 2018.
Okay. What about in 2021?
I did.
Okay. And where did y'all meet?
In my office.
And how did that meeting occur?
I was contacted by Christina Parcell, and she had informed me that she had been receiving some letters in the mail, and she wanted to report them to law enforcement.
And did you schedule a meeting with them?
I did.
And where was that meeting located?
In my office.
And who all attended that meeting?
It was myself, Christina Parcell, Brad Post, and an investigator from the Postal Service,
And what was his name?
Mike Nichols, I believe.
And so when y'all had that meeting, what was the purpose of that meeting?
It was basically just to receive the complaint, just find out whatever information they had. They had previously informed me that they had already gotten envelopes at their house as well as neighboring houses, and they wanted to hand them over to us for investigations.
And so, did they bring you a number of envelopes?
They did.
And did you look at the inside of those envelopes?
I did.
All right. And what was the purpose of looking at all these envelopes and looking at the inside?
I looked at the ones that were open, and they mainly wanted to show me what was inside, investigate the contents of them.
And so specifically, what was their complaint?
Due to the content of the envelopes, they believed it was a harassment situation, and they wanted to report that.
And so, did you, in fact, review those contents of that of all those photos that they brought to you?
I did.
And did you continue? Did you investigate as to who might have sent these photos?
I did.
I'm going to show you what's been marked as States Exhibit 1. And ask you to identify that.
Yes, sir.
Okay, what is that?
It's one of the envelopes I received from Brad Post and Christina Parcell.
Your State moves Exhibit 1 into evidence.
No objection. No objection. Exhibit 1.
Hi and welcome, Coco Bella. I didn't realize they were already ready for the verdict, Michelle. Wow. Yeah, I'm glad you came too.
Waiting on the elbow.
You're welcome.
There we go.
We love
All
new
right.
friends.
Thank you. So is this the envelope
Oh, wow.
that one of that you received?
It is.
All right, whose name is on there?
Brad Post.
All right, and did you ever determine whose PO box that is?
It's Brad Post P.O. Box.
All right, and up here, is there a date? Can you read the date?
Wednesday, June 30th, 2021.
And what does it say above that?
Greenville, I believe it's P&DC 296.
Now, did you look inside the contents of this envelope?
If it was opened, I did. Yes, sir.
All right, I'm going to show you what states is marked as 1C. Ask you if you recognize that.
I do.
Okay. And what is that?
It's one of the pages that was in the envelope.
Not a
Your
copy.
state moves 1C into evidence.
Work and lurk away, man. Work and lurk away.
No objection. All right, no objection. 1C comes into evidence.
All right, let's take a look at States Exhibit 1C.
Good morning, Miss King.
Now, what did your investigation reveal as far as what this particular photo was?
It appears to be a screenshot of an escort site.
Oh,
And can you describe what's on there? Whose name is on there? Websites?
It appears to be an advertisement for the name Caroline Warren.
That right there?
Correct. And the part that's kind of squared right here is a URL for Belladonna DiGiorno.escort-site.com.
All right. And then what about the words above that?
It's basically an advertisement for an escort. Says, "Okay, Georgia boys, I'll be concluding a quick Alabama tour and was considering spending a day in Hotlanta. Question is, are you men ready for me? I have very limited availability at an upscale in-call location, so get in touch with me soon so we don't miss out on each other."
And so your experience as an investigator, what is that asking to do?
It's an advertisement for an escort, or just more specifically, prostitution advertisement.
And more specifically, I'm going to refer you to this area right here. I'm going to move this up a little bit. You can see kind of an arrow
Yes, sir.
pointing down like that.
Wow.
There. Did you take particular notice of that?
I did.
And so just what is that?
It appears to be drawing my attention to the website URL and then an arrow pointing down to something else.
Down towards the page?
Correct.
Could it be considered like that particular URL moved down?
Correct.
All right. Now I'm going to show you States Exhibits 1A and 1B for identification purposes only. I'm going to show you first 1A, but you'll tell the jury what's on there and specifically about that URL.
Oh, please don't show
It's
pictures.
a black and white image of Christina Parcell nude. And there is the same website URL, that Bella Donna Giorno website, down at the bottom.
And I'm going to show you States Exhibit 1B.
Did y'all notice the first time? And I'm pausing this because on my I think day one of this video, I got like 3 comments in a row of people saying, quit talking over them. We can't hear. So anyway, did you notice the first time he mentioned the website, the Bella Donna, whatever, he said DiGiorno. And in my mind, I'm thinking where you can get porn and pizza at the same time. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's an advertisement for porn and pizza. There we go.
It's another black and white image of Christina Parcell, partially nude, with that same website down at the bottom.
Is there any distinguishing factors between the 2 websites, the 2 URLs that are located?
Can I see the other one?
Yes. So I'm letting you compare 1A and 1B.
The words are the same. The URL is spelled out exactly the same, but the font, the size, the alignment is all different.
Is it really? Hey, good morning, Tanika. Hey. Hey. Good morning, GRI. I shouted you out this morning. Did she? That's where they've come from then. Oh, that's so sweet. That's amazing. 'Cause whenever I got in here, we had some new faces and they'd said that GRI had sent them. And so I was like, oh, wow. Well, when you see this, if you see this, GRI, thank you so much. I appreciate that big time. Very sweet. You and Tanika, you guys are both awesome sauce.
So I keep going. All right. Do you remember approximately how many photos or envelopes that were handed to you by Christina Parcell and Brad Post?
It was less than 10, I believe.
6 or 7?
Yes, sir.
All right, I'm going to show you what's been marked as State's Exhibit 2.
Wow, okay. Good morning, Gail.
You recognize that?
I do.
What is that?
It's another envelope given to me by Brad Post and Christina Parcell.
State moves Exhibit 2 into evidence.
I'm feeling the same way, Chrissy. It's like, ugh. And from the looks of it, she's guilty of it. As far as them having actual hardcore evidence.
No objection. No objection.
Yeah, that's what I said, Morgana. That's exactly what I said.
So I'm showing you State's Exhibit 2. Please tell the jury what's on there.
We have a P.O. box at the top left, Bradley Post name, and his address right here, even though his name right here is misspelled.
How is it spelled?
On here, it's spelled P-O-A-S-T,
Oh,
but
like
the correct
toast.
spelling is P-O-S-T. And up here is the postage stamp for Knoxville, P&DC, Tennessee, for Thursday, 8th of July, 2021.
I whispered it, Morgana.
I'm going to show you what's State's Exhibit 2A and 2B. And to show you 2A, do you recognize that?
I do.
What is that?
It is the advertisement that I previously read for the escort site.
So previous to the one you just testified to?
Correct.
In a different envelope.
Yes.
Oh, Lord Aurelia.
And State's Exhibit 2B,
I recognize it, yes, sir.
what is that?
It is a checklist with 3 different addresses on it, and they're crossed out and check marks beside them.
Your Honor, State moves Exhibits 2A and 2B into evidence.
No objection. Without objection, 2A and 2B come into evidence.
If you mean the CSAM, Donnie, no, they're just talking about the,
All right. So I'm showing you Exhibit 2A. What is that?
sorry.
It is the,
They're just talking about the nudies that he had sent to the neighbors and the businesses.
advertisement for the escort site that I previously read off.
And who is this advertisement website for?
It is for Caroline Warren.
And what is that URL at the bottom?
It's that same URL, the Belladonna DiGiorno.escort hyphen site.com.
He got frozen DiGiorno
And
pizzas.
then I'm going to
in
show
his
you
freezer.
State's Exhibit 2E. What is that?
That is the checklist with the 3 different addresses. As you can see, the addresses are crossed out and the check marks beside them.
Hi, Denise. Welcome. He is hungry, right, Aurelia?
All right. Now I'm going to show you State's Exhibits 2B, 2C, and 2D. Do you recognize 2B, 2C, and 2D?
Yes, sir.
I'm going to put them up like this. These are marked for identification purposes only. And if you'll state the exhibit and describe the photo and the URLs of that Belladonna Giorno.
Okay. The first one is 2B. It's a color image of Christina Parcell. She's laid back on a bed, partially nude. The same previously mentioned website URL is down at the bottom. 2C is another nude image of Christina Parcell with the same URL down at the bottom. 2D is another color image of Christina Parcell and male anatomy on there with the website URL on the side of it.
Did you notice anything distinct about the URLs among those 3 photos?
Yes, sir.
What'd you notice?
Once again, the location on the page is different, like the alignment, the size of the fonts is different, or the type of font is different, the size, they're all different.
Good morning, Cynthia. Oh, I would die. I would absolutely die. Like, put me in a hole. I'm
Moving
done.
along, I'm going to show you State's Exhibit 158.
Same, Morgana, same.
What is State's 158?
It is another envelope that I received addressed to Vanessa Cormillo.
Your State moves 158 into evidence.
No objection. Objection, 158.
All right, I'm showing you State's 158. Tell the jury what's on there.
P.O. Box at the top left-hand portion, addressed to Vanessa Cormillo at 1314 East Washington Street, Greenville, 29607. Postage stamp up here is Knoxville, PNDC, Tennessee, Thursday, 8th of July, 2021.
I'm going to show you State's Exhibit 158A.
Stop it, Morgana.
Do you recognize it?
I do.
What is that?
It's the same escort advertisement from earlier.
State moves 158A into evidence.
No objection. No objection, 158A.
It really is. You're right, Chrissy. Yeah.
And so, what is that?
It's the escort advertisement for Caroline Warren.
And what is the website down here?
Belladonna DiGiorno escort-site.com.
Every time he says
Is Christina
DiGiorno.
Parcells' name on any of this?
No.
Now I'm going to show you
I could say something right now. I'm so sorry. Every time he says DiGiorno, I'm just thinking like stuffed crust or rising crust. I'm so sorry.
3 photos, 158B, 158C, and 158D. We kind of do the same thing. I'll let you look at them. You can describe them and the URLs as well. Refer to them by number.
Yes, sir. 158B is, just so you guys know, these are the same images that I previously described. Color images of 158B is color image of Christina Parcell laid back on the bed, partially nude, with the previously mentioned website down at the bottom. 158C is another color image of Christina Parcell nude with the URL down at the bottom. 158D is a color image of Christina Parcell and the male anatomy on it.
Anything about the URLs?
Once again, different. Different size, different font, different alignments.
I'm going to show you State's Exhibit 6.
Hey, LaTanya.
It's another envelope addressed to 22 Rivoli Lane.
This is one of the envelopes that was given to you.
Yes, sir.
Your State moves Exhibit 6 into evidence.
I'll be right back. I've got to run and get the kiddo a quick little morning snack.
No objection.
Number 6.
I'm going to show you State's Exhibit 6. Is that the envelope?
It is. And return address is Brad, I'm assuming it's post, that's covered up. It's got his address, 24 Rivoli Lane, Greenville 29615. Bottom address is 22 Rivoli Lane, Greenville 29615, with the postage mark of Greenville, P&DC 296 for Saturday, 17 July 2021.
Then I'm going to show you State's Exhibits 6G, 6H, and 6I. Do you recognize State's Exhibit 6I?
I do.
What is that?
It is a piece of paper that states, please find enclosed photos of and information pertaining to one Christina Parcell, AKA Caroline Warren, paramour of Brad Post at 24 Rivoli Lane, Greenville, South Carolina.
And 6H.
Is a black and white image of the escort advertisement.
And 6G.
It is a longer list of addresses with only the first one crossed out and X'd off.
Your Honor, State moves 6I, 6H, and 6G into evidence.
No objection. Objection.
All right. So. So is this the letter
It is.
that you found? And that's the one referring to Christina Parcell?
Yes.
Now, is this just printed on a white piece of paper?
Yes, sir.
Could you type this up and print it out if you wanted to right now?
Yes, sir.
And how would you do that?
Very easily with Microsoft Word, Notepad, any type of computer program.
And then 6G,
This is the longer list of addresses with, as you notice, only the first one's crossed off and X'd.
and what do you think the purpose of having that X and crossed off mean?
To me, I take that as these packets, one of these packets has already been sent to that address, and all these other addresses can expect the same packets.
Is that part of the intimidation or harassment?
I would absolutely take it that way.
All right. And I'm going to show you states 6A, 6B, 6C, 6D, 6E, and F. So 6A through F. We'll do the same thing as we did before. And you got to go through them and just briefly explain to the jury what's in there and focus on those URLs.
Yes, sir. 6A, black and white image of Christina Parcell, partially nude, with the website URL down at the escort website down at the bottom. 6B is a black and white image of Christina Parcell, partially nude, with the escort website down at the bottom.
And that's the Belladonna.
belladonna.digiorno.escort-site.com. Just for future reference, when I refer to the website URL, it's all typed out the exact same, just different sizes, different fonts, different alignments. 6C is another black and white image of Christina Parcell with the male anatomy. 6D is black and white image of Christina Parcell, kind of on all fours, looking back towards the camera. Website URL down at the bottom. 6E is another black and white image, nude image of Christina Parcell with the website URL listed on there. 6F is another black and white image of Christina Parcell with the escort website URL at the bottom.
And as far as those URLs, all different shapes and sizes?
Correct.
All right, I'm going to show you State's Exhibit 5. You recognize State's Exhibit 5?
I do.
And is that one of the photos that Christina Parcell and Brad Post gave you?
One of the envelopes, yes, sir.
One of the envelopes?
Yes, sir.
All right. Your Honor, State moves Exhibit 5 into evidence.
No objection. No objection. Number 5 comes in evidence.
Briefly. Is that the envelope?
It is.
And who's it mailed to?
It is mailed to Mr. Post at 24 Rivoli Lane, Greenville, 29615.
And whose P.O. box is that?
P.O. Box 27302.
And I'm going to show you State's Exhibit 5A and 5B. You recognize that?
I do.
What is 5A?
5A is another list of addresses with several of them crossed out and X'd off to the side.
And 5B?
5B is a black and white image of the escort website advertisement.
Your Honor, State moves 5A and 5B into evidence.
No objection. Not objection.
5A. Tell the jury what that is.
It's the list of addresses, starting with Brad Post, his address going down. These appear to be neighbors of Brad Post. Like I said, the first 3 are crossed out, and down towards the bottom you have Outman's Cigars and Martini Bar, and that one's crossed out.
And again, what would be the purpose of including that in these?
To show that, I would take this to show that these envelopes have been mailed to the addresses that have been crossed out, and they're about to be sent off to the addresses that are not crossed out.
And show you State's Exhibit 5B.
Again, black and white image of the escort website advertisement for Caroline Warren.
And I know it's hard to see, what is that URL down there?
The same URL, the belladonna-giorno.escort-site.com.
And who is this website? Who is the name associated with this escort site?
I'm sorry,
What is the name associated with this particular escort site?
the Caroline Warren one? Yes, sir.
Not Christina Parcell.
Correct.
All right, I'm going to show you, again, State's Exhibits. C, D, E, F, G, and H, all for identification purposes only.
All right. 5C, black and white image, Christina Parcell nude with the escort website URL at the bottom. 5D, black and white image of Christina Parcell nude with the escort website URL at the bottom. 5E, black and white image of Christina Parcell on all fours, looking over her shoulder with the escort website URL at the bottom. 5F, black and white image of Christina Parcell with the male anatomy over it, and the escort website URL at the bottom. 5G, black and white nude image of Christina Parcell with the escort website URL at the bottom. And 5, is that H, I believe? Black and white nude image of Christina Parcell with the escort website URL at the bottom.
And again, those URLs.
Different sizes, different fonts, different alignments on their locations on the page.
Chrissy.
Getting closer. We show you States Exhibit 4.
Do you need some water? Okay.
States Exhibit 4, 4A, and 4B. I'm going to try to speed it up if I can.
Oh, Lord, Margaret.
4A and 4B. 4.
4 is another envelope. This one's addressed to Outman Cigars and Martini Bar. 4A is another one of the typed letters saying, please find enclosed photos.
Okay, so P. Lola, the only way he is involved with these flyers is he helped deliver them. Because at the time that they were sent out, the Mello, the daddy, was gone to Italy, I think. And this dude, the Zachary Hughes, is the one who allegedly delivered these said photos and such to these businesses and places.
Christina Parcell, aka Caroline Warren. 4B is another black and white image of the escort website advertisement.
The Honor State moves 4, item 4, 4A, and 4B.
No objection. No objection. 4A.
These are the nude photos that this is what the sister basically called the revenge
Is that the envelope? Item 4 that I'm showing you?
P word.
Yes, sir.
All right. And the address?
Address is for Outman Cigars and Martini Bar with the address of.
Remember, those images were sent out to different businesses in the area. And, yeah. And no, P. Lola, it was revenge. Corn on the cob. Okay? Corn on the cob. And John Mello, the baby daddy, her ex-husband, and Zachary Hughes, the defendant, together collaborated to send these out to people to make her look bad so she would lose custody of the child. And they found these pictures of her because they were on a public website, and they used them as revenge corn on the cob. Okay? Does it make sense now? Does that help? No, he wasn't a photographer. No. No. And Pilola, the guy that was a photographer, was the dude that was in the red jacket yesterday on the stand, remember? The one that said that the defendant was a great guy off the record. Let me see. Pilola, I don't know if there would be money transferred because, I mean, there could be, but the defendant did work side jobs for the Mello guy, the John Mello. They were friends, but the Zachary Hughes guy did odd jobs for, like, around the house side jobs for the guy. I hope that helps.
26 Orchard Park Drive, Greenville 29615. Return address, Brad Post, 24 Rivoli Lane, Greenville 29615. And the postmark is kind of blurred, but I believe it's a Greenville postmark.
Notice anything about the stamps? 2 sets of stamps.
Correct.
All right, I'm going to show you State's Exhibit 4A.
That's the type letter. I identified the please find enclosed photos of and information pertaining to one Christina Parcell, AKA Caroline Warren, Paramore of Brad Post at 24 Rivoli Lane, Greenville, South Carolina.
So the only thing identifying Christina Parcell is this typed up letter here.
Correct.
And then State's Exhibit 4B.
Black and white image of the escort website advertisement for Caroline Warren and the website URL, or the Belladonna Giorno website down at the bottom.
All right. And then I'm going to show you for identification purposes for C, D, E, F, G, and H.
All
Do
right.
the same thing you did before, Detective Bevel.
4C, black and white image of Christina Parcell nude with the escort website URL at the bottom. 4D, black and white image of Christina Parcell partially nude, escort website URL at the bottom. 4E, black and white image of Christina Parcell on all fours looking back at the camera, escort website URL at the bottom. 4F, black and white image of Christina Parcell with the male anatomy, with the escort website URL at the bottom. 4G, black and white image of Christina Parcell nude, the escort website URL at the bottom. 4H, black and white image of Christina Parcell partially nude, escort website URL at the bottom.
Down to State's Exhibit 3. And State's Exhibit 3 is
Another envelope with the address sent to 25 Rivoli Lane
State's Exhibit 3A.
is another one of the type letters identifying Christina Parcell as Caroline Warren.
And 3B.
Another black and white image of the escort website advertisement, Caroline Warren, with the website URL at the bottom.
Now, State moves Exhibits 3, 3A, and 3B.
No objection. Objection, 3A. 3A. 3B, comment.
Is that the envelope?
It is.
All right. And the address?
Sent to, or addressed to 25 Rivoli Lane, Greenville 29615. Return address for Brad Post at 24 Rivoli Lane, Greenville 29615. Postage stamp for Greenville PNDC. I believe that's the date of Saturday, 17 July 2021.
And you notice this one doesn't have a name associated with it.
Correct.
Just an address.
Correct.
And then State's Exhibit 3A.
It's the same letter from earlier identifying Christina Parcell as Caroline Warren.
And State's Exhibit 3B.
Same escort website advertisement for Caroline Warren with the website URL at the bottom.
And that's that right there.
Yes, sir.
And then I'm going to show you State's Exhibits 3C, 3D, 3E, 3F, 3G, and 3H. And briefly describe those and the differences in the URLs.
All right. 3C, black and white image of Christina Parcell, partially nude. Escort website URL at the bottom. 3D, black and white image of Christina Parcell with the male anatomy. The escort website, again, down at the bottom, different location, different font, different size. 3E, black and white image of Christina Parcell on all fours. Looking back at the camera, website URL, once again, different location, alignment, font. 3F, black and white image of Christina Parcell, partially nude.
I'm assuming it's the exact same thing in every single envelope. So why in the name of goodness gracious can't they just say, just to save time, say all these things were found in envelope 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Bada bing, bada boom, bada bang, dunzo, right? But no, they gotta go through it all individually. GRI gossip, rumor, and innuendo. She's here. Hey, hey, I'm late. I've got to run this back and get caught up. Ma'am, thank you so much for sending folks over this way. I appreciate that so much. I really, really do. I was blessed and super like, wow, this morning whenever I came into the stream and saw some new faces today. Thank you very, very much. That means a lot. I appreciate it.
With the escort website URL, slightly different font, location, towards the bottom. 3G, black and white image of Christina Parcell, nude. Escort website URL at the bottom, once again, different alignment, different font. 3H, black and white image of Christina Parcell, partially nude, with the escort website URL at the bottom. Once again, different font, different size, slightly different alignment.
Prosecutor looks like a news
So
anchor.
when you met with Christina Parcell and Brad Post and Mike Nicholson, were you trying to determine who had possession of these photos?
Yes, sir.
And did you discuss that with Christina Parcell and Brad Post?
I did.
And did she tell you who had custody and control of those photos?
Yes, sir.
And after she told you who had possession and custody and control of all those photos you just described, who did you immediately start investigating?
John Mello.
Now, in regards to those URLs on those photos, if you had possession of those photos on a phone or a computer, could you insert that URL into the bottom?
Yes, sir.
And how would somebody do that?
It's very simple to do. You can load a picture into something like Microsoft Word and literally just type it in at the bottom.
And I'm assuming Microsoft Word allows you to put the location of that URL wherever you want.
Yes, sir.
Does it allow you to change the font on those?
Yes, sir.
The size of the letters as well?
You can change it up however you'd like. Size, location, alignment, font, size, anything.
So it was finagled. Sketchy, sketchy,
When you first got
sketchy.
these photos, did you attempt to try to find the website?
Yes, sir.
How did you do that?
Just type the address into one of our computers in the office.
And what did you find?
The website no longer worked.
So you put belladongiorno.com, that's what it's like? and put it into your computer?
Yes, sir.
They sold out of the popcorn and the pizza. So they shut the whole website down. No more popcorn and pizza.
What happened?
It just redirected me to another escort website.
Were any of those photos on that escort site?
No, sir.
Was any pictures of Christina Parcell, any of those websites that you found?
No, sir.
So, does Belladonna Jewelry exist?
If it does, I'm not aware of it.
Or you don't know if it existed back then or not?
No, sir.
Can't tell.
No, sir.
All right, if you'll answer any questions defense may have.
Yes, sir.
May it please the court.
Cross-examination.
So, just to understand, the last thing you said is it's very possible that this website did exist. Is that right?
I typed it in, but it wasn't there, so
My question is it possible that it existed and been taken down? Is that possible?
possibly, yes, sir.
And you testified that the website that Mr. Wilkins referenced, that it was an escort website, is that right?
It appeared to be, yes, sir.
And you testified that based on your training and experience and your review of the website, it looked as though it was a platform for advertising prostitution. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And prostitution is illegal.
Yes, sir.
And isn't it true that oftentimes people engaged in illegal activities online use aliases? Isn't that true?
Yes, sir.
And isn't it true that you use aliases to try to avoid detection from law enforcement to make it harder for you to determine who's engaged in this illegal activity? Is that correct?
That's correct.
And you testified that the URL on the photographs was the same spellings as the URL on the escort website. Is that right?
That's correct.
And you testified that the person who was new or partially new to those photographs was Christina Parcell. Is that correct?
That's correct.
You testified earlier that that you had been in multiple different divisions within the sheriff's office. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
You testified that you were in patrol.
Yes, sir.
When did you serve in the patrol unit?
From 2012 to 2017.
And then you mentioned ICAC. Is that right?
After that, I went to Crimes Against Children for 2 years, then ICAC for another 4 years.
What is ICAC?
It's Internet Crimes Against Children.
Right. So you started. When were you in the Crimes Against Children's unit?
From 2017 to 2019.
And then when were you in the ICAC unit?
From 2019 to 2023, I believe.
Okay. And you testified that Christina Parcell, or let me be clear about this, maybe you didn't. Did Christina Parcell contact you directly when she received these envelopes?
Yes, sir.
So she didn't call 911, she didn't call a non-emergency line with the sheriff's office, she called you directly, is that true?
Correct.
And you testified that she called you directly because you had met her and Brad Post earlier in 2018, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Did you meet them in your official capacity as a police officer or in your private capacity just as a citizen?
No, in my official capacity as a law enforcement officer.
Okay. Is it true, Investigator Bevel, people post things online, take things down online all the time? Isn't that true?
Yes, sir.
And isn't it true, if you're like me, on occasion, you'll search a website that once existed and then it doesn't exist any longer? Isn't that true?
Yes, sir.
Your Honor, I've got nothing else.
Okay. Any redirect?
No redirect, Your Honor.
And, Your Honor, we would just ask that you remain under subpoena and subject to recall.
Thank you, sir.
Your Honor, state calls Mike Nicholson.
solemnly swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
I agree, Chrissy. Both of them, the two guy, the mellow guy and the post guy. I'm like, what in the world? Maybe they have money. I mean, apparently they have money, and that's why. I don't know, but you're right. Sorry, I'm over here trying to finish up a Walmart delivery order, and I am. It's a thing. Let's continue. I'll be right back.
Please state your name for the record.
Michael Nicholson, and that's Nichholson.
Your Honor, if you'll give me about 45 seconds to get these items back in order. Mr. Nicholson, with whom are you employed?
I was employed as a United States Postal Inspector. I retired in September of 2023.
And how long were you a United States Postal Inspector?
I was employed with them from October of 2002, as I said, till September of 2023. Various assignments, locations. I started in Columbus, Ohio, and I came to Greenville end of 2006.
And as a postal inspector, what are your main duties?
I usually have to go into a little bit of explanation because most folks don't know what a postal inspector is. Generally, I always say we're the FBI for the post office. What that means is we have jurisdiction to investigate any kind of federal crime that has a nexus to the United States mail. That can involve a variety of things. It could be mail theft, it could be identity theft, mail fraud. I worked a lot of narcotics in the mail, and in this particular case, harassment or stalking through the mail.
Did you have the occasion to meet along with Detective Bevel, with Christina Parcell and Brad Post?
I did.
And what was the purpose of that meeting?
Investigator Bevel had contacted me because he had been working this investigation for a period of time, and he advised me that some items had been sent through the mail, and asked if I would come and sit in on the interview, be present at the interview, and then make a determination if there might be a possibility for federal charges related to what was being sent through the mail.
And did y'all both receive some envelopes given to you by Christina Parcell and Brad Post?
We did.
And did you have the opportunity to review those envelopes as well?
I did.
And what was your purpose of reviewing these envelopes? What was your role?
Again, just for me, it was to assist the sheriff's office and as a preliminary investigation to see if there might be occasion to bring federal charges at some point in the future.
Now, on these envelopes, it has a bunch of squiggly lines and some dates and a location.
Mm-hmm.
Is that postal inspector information that the post office puts on packages?
It is, and it's not necessarily just specific to postal inspectors. That's just what happens to mail pieces when it goes through processing centers.
And with that information, can you determine where, or at least down to a city, where the mailings occurred?
Yes, and those particular envelopes that I was able to review with Investigator Bevel and Christina Parcell and Brad Post, as I recall, there were a total of 6 envelopes that he brought that day, and 5 of them bore postmarks in Greenville. So what that means from our perspective is it went through the Greenville, South Carolina Processing Center. So, and I think Investigator Bevel actually made reference to 296 or 293. So in the entire upstate of South Carolina is divided into 293 and 296 zip codes. So anything in the upstate of South Carolina is going to come to the Greenville Processing Center. So seeing that postmark on there tells me that that mail piece was dropped in the mail somewhere in the 293 or 296 zip codes.
All right, and if I show these to you, would you be able to tell this jury about where they were mailed? All right, I'm gonna show you State's Exhibit 1, and I'm gonna focus on this. Is this what you were talking about?
Yes, that's correct. Yeah.
What is that?
So that the Greenville obviously indicates a city. PNDC stands for Processing and Distribution Center, and then 296 is where this processing center is actually geographically located.
All right, and so where's the location and date when this particular mail?
It says Greenville, Wednesday, June 30th, 2021. So what that tells me is that it hit the processing center, hit a particular cancellation machine on that date.
On June 30th?
On June 30th, 2021.
All right, and so that Greenville 296, what area is that?
That would be part of the upstate of South Carolina.
State of South Carolina?
Yes.
So it was mailed somewhere in the upstate?
Somewhere in the upstate of South Carolina,
Would
correct.
that be Greenville County, or could it be another?
It could be, it could be anywhere in the upstate, Oconee County, Anderson County, Pickens County, anywhere.
I'm going to show you State's Exhibit 2. What about this one?
This one says Knoxville. Again, it's PNDC, stands for Processing and Distribution Center in Tennessee. I'm not as familiar with that, but 379 would be the 3-digit geographic identifier for that processing center. Okay, and that would tell me that any mail piece in that starts in 379 zip code is going to go through that particular processing center.
And on what date?
And the date on that says Thursday, July the 8th, 2021.
So is that when it would have hit the distribution center?
Yes, that's the day it would have came through the distribution center.
So that would be in around the Knoxville area.
That's correct.
I'm going to show you State's Exhibit 158.
Again, it says the Knoxville Processing and Distribution Center. And again, 379 would be the leading 3 digits of the zip code, Thursday, July the 8th, 2021.
State's Exhibit 6.
This one indicates Greenville Processing and Distribution Center, Saturday, July 17th, 2021.
Just out of curiosity, it's like, what are all the squiggly lines around them? Is that just the stamp?
That's to cancel the stamp, so they can't be reused.
There you go. Good old government.
Yes, sir.
Exhibit 5. A little more difficult to read.
I can read it. It says Greenville PNDC 296, Saturday, July 17th, 2021.
State's Exhibit 4.
Again, it's blurry, but you can read it. It says Greenville PNDC 296, Saturday, July 17th, 2021.
And State's Exhibit 3.
Again, Greenville PNDC 296, Saturday, July 17th, 2021.
Can we answer any questions, Vince, Councilman?
Mr. Nicholson, you and I have known each other for probably 15 or 16 years now.
Yes, sir, we have.
How did we meet?
When you were an assistant United States attorney.
And over that period of time, we worked many cases together, didn't we?
We did.
Thank you for your service, and Mr. Nicholson, you're as good as they come. Thank you so much, sir. I've got nothing further.
No direct from the state, Your Honor. Your Honor, the state calls Blake Wolf. Recall.
I would remind you that you're still under arrest.
Yes, Your Honor.
Sheesh. Does anybody else get like completely stressed out when they're trying to make a Walmart order online? Or is it just me? I get completely stressed out. The substitution thing stresses me out. Anyway, okay. So, I'm sorry if I missed anybody. Hey, Ween Baby, I see you popping in the chat, ma'am. Hi. Hi. Let me see. Did I miss anybody else? The substitution thing stresses me out. Ugh. I don't do Walmart. I just walk through Food Line. Well, see, I don't want to get out and go. I don't. Now, my husband, on the other hand, he's one of those that like wants to run to Walmart every day when he gets off work. I'm like, yeah, that's why we spend so much daggone money. So, let's not do that. Let's place an order, and then you don't even have to go in the store, okay? So, anyway. Okay, I think I got it taken care of. Now. Ween Baby. Oh, God, Ween Baby. That is totally something I could see you doing. Nah, that's funny. Oh, that's good, though, Michelle.
Okay.
Exactly, Miss King, yes.
Master Deputy Wolf, you're still under oath.
Yes, sir.
So, did you become involved in the harassment investigation regarding all those photos?
Yes, sir, I did.
How did you get involved in that?
During the murder of Christina Parcell, I obtained a search warrant for Zachary Hughes's Gmail account, which would include his emails. After I received his emails, I became involved in that investigation.
Now, how did you locate his Zachary Hughes's email?
When we did the search warrant at 200 Tyndall Avenue, we seized his cell phone. A cell phone extraction was done on that device, and we were able to determine what email address he used on his cell phone.
And then once you obtained that email address, what did you do?
I then obtained a search warrant for the email address. Since I knew that Mr. Hughes had been in communication with John Mello, John Mello's overseas, they obviously have to communicate through electronic means.
And in those emails, were there also email addresses for John Mello as well?
Yes, sir.
And did you obtain a search warrant for John Mello's email?
Yes, sir, I did.
Do you recall the email address that you sent the search warrant off to Google?
For John, or
For Zachary Hughes?
it's zachary.david.hughes@gmail.com.
And what about Mello?
John at milestonemusic@gmail.com.
And then did Gmail or Google return emails to you as a result of that search warrant?
Yes, sir, they did.
And were you able to review those emails?
Yes, sir, I was.
And by reviewing those emails, were you able to confirm that it was in fact this Zachary David Hughes and the John Mello that we're talking about in this case?
Yes, sir.
What was the basis of that?
So when we receive somebody's Google information, we obtain more than just emails. We get account information they provide Google, such as their name, phone numbers, addresses. If they allow Google to back up photos.
I get a lot of that from Michelle Morgana. Double comments. It's the same comment, but it like posts twice. I have no idea why. No idea.
For example, Mr. Mello in his Google account, I have photos of himself and his daughter that he took that allowed Google to back up.
That Google sent you?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Were there any conversations among those emails?
Yes, sir, there were.
And were those conversations between John Mello and Zachary Hughes?
Yes, sir.
And were you able to determine that it was in fact this Zachary Hughes and the John Mello we're talking about in this case?
Yes, sir.
Were they talking about, what were they talking about?
Christina Parcell, they were referring to her as Sweet Caroline Warren.
Ooh. Sweet Caroline. Dun, dun, dun. We're getting ready to get into some nitty gritty emails, schmeemails. I keep zoning out today, like staring off into space. Man. Well, are we going to get with the program? I don't like when there's blank space in the talking area. It's uncomfortable.
Yes, sir, I do.
Okay. Mellow yellow.
Yes, sir, I do.
What is States Exhibit 166?
This is a certification of authenticity from Google verifying the records I obtained were from the Google account zachary.david.hughes@gmail.com.
And you got that email off of Zachary Hughes' phone when you reviewed it?
Yes, sir.
And what about States Exhibit 165?
This is the same document, except this was received when I received John Mello's Google information at john@milestonesound@gmail.com.
And how did you locate that Gmail?
That was through communications that Mr. Hughes was having. They were sharing emails.
Our state moves States 166 and 165 into evidence.
No objection.
No objection, 166.
Now, let's back up a little bit. So when you received this information, what information did you receive from Google when you sent off the search warrant for Zachary David Hughes' Gmail and John Mello's email?
So it depends on what email, or excuse me, what information, what data each individual user allows Google to track. So in this case, emails, it could be pictures, phone contact list backup, location data, Google voice messages, anything along those lines, that any information that Google stores on you.
And then when you get emails, is it just a big stack of emails, or do you have to put them in a computer? How is it given to you, and how are you able to just read emails?
So they give it to you in a file that they call Inbox, and then you have to put it into another program called Thunderbird to be able to view the emails.
And did you do that in this case?
Yes, sir, I did.
And as a result of putting it into Thunderbird, Were you able to review the emails between Zachary Hughes and John Mello?
Yes, sir.
I'm going to show you.
Oh, sorry, Cynthia.
States 167.
Thank you, Henny. Yeah, you guys don't forget to hit that thumbs up button. I would appreciate it. Big ol' mucho macho.
States Exhibits 167. I'm asking you if you identify that.
Yes, sir. This is an external drive that contains the emails, the raw data I received from
And
Google.
have you reviewed this?
Yes, sir, I have.
Is that your initials?
Yes, sir, it is.
So this is the raw data that you received from Google?
Yes, sir.
State moves Exhibit 167 into evidence.
No objection, Your Honor.
All right, so back, so thank you, Honor. When you get this stuff, did you put this information into Thunderbird?
Yes, sir, I did.
And once you did that, about how many emails do you think you recovered?
For Zachary Hughes, it was a little over 23,000. I don't remember the number for Mr. Mello.
Okay. And then, as part of your duties in this case, did you go through those and sort of create a package of the emails just between John Mello and Zachary Hughes?
Yes, sir, I did.
And between those two, how many emails did you, just between Zach Hughes and John Mello, how many emails do you think you obtained?
Oh, hundreds.
While you were doing that, was there a particular email that brought your attention?
Yes, sir, there was.
I'm going to show you States Exhibits 167. I'm sorry, 168. I'm going to ask you if you recognize this.
Yes, sir. This is an email that Mr. Mello sent Mr. Hughes on May 16th of 21.
Your Honor, State moves Exhibit 168 into evidence.
No objection.
Without objection. 168 comes in.
All right, I'm going to show you the top of this email. And so can you tell, starting with the forward, what this is?
Yes, sir. This email was forwarded from John Mello to Mr. Hughes. The title is Christina Parcell, aka Sweet Caroline Warren. You can see that the message where it says forwarded messages, the original message came from Mullins Investigations at protonmail.com.
All right, as part of your investigation into this, did you look into Mullen Investigations?
Yes, sir, I did.
How did you do that?
So I started with just the basic Google search. I found no private investigative company named Mullen Investigations. And then we contacted SLED. In South Carolina, if you're a private investigator, you have to be registered and licensed through SLED. SLED had no record of a Mullins investigation or a private investigator with the last name Mullins.
And so you, you never located Mullen Investigations.
As far as I can tell, they don't exist.
Hey,
And
Kel.
I noticed that it says at protonmail.com.
Yes, sir.
That's significant.
Yes, sir, it is.
How is that?
Proton Mail is a company that's based in Switzerland, where privacy laws are very different. When you create an account there, they don't ask for any of your personal information. They don't comply with our search warrants. We have no way to get any information from them. They make their business off guaranteeing that you're going to stay anonymous.
So if you wanted to create Walt Wilkins at protonmail.com and send emails, would you be able to do that?
Yes, sir.
You would not have to give any of your personal information.
No, sir.
And then you could then represent yourself to be Walt Wilkins at protonmail.com.
Yes, sir.
And have y'all attempted to try to get information from protonmail.com before?
I have not personally. I know of investigators that have in other cases and federal cases.
Successful?
No.
So I'm going to move forward. So what was this? Was this attached to the email?
Yes, sir, it was.
And what is this?
This is the same advertisement that investigator Bevel covered that was in the packages, the 6 packages that were mailed out, the escort or prostitution advertisement.
And was there a Bella Don Giorno attached to it?
Yes,
Where's that?
down at the very bottom.
Right there?
Yes, sir.
And then whose name is over here?
Caroline Warren.
Okay. And is this the same photos that we just saw with Detective Bevel?
Yes, sir.
And did you notice anything about how it's with the photo there? Who was in the photo?
Christina Parcell.
And did you notice anything about how it's cut and pasted?
Yes, sir, I did.
What did you notice?
So first thing I noticed is that the margins are off. The photo of Miss Parcell is too far to the left. And then at the top of the advertisement, you can see where it looks like they cut and pasted it, but they left a couple other, where your finger is. Maybe those were letters or some other part of the web page that they just didn't cut off.
Now, on this email, on May 16th, 2021, to Zach Hughes from John Mello, is that Belladonna Giorno-escort.site.com on this picture?
No, sir, it is not.
Nowhere to be seen.
No, sir.
So this photo, you can see the top of it of Christina Parcell right there, is just a photo of Christina Parcell.
Correct.
Nothing else on it.
No, sir.
All right, I'm going to show you the second page of State's Exhibits 168. And what is the top up there?
That shows the title of the forwarded email, Christina Parcell, AKA Sweet Caroline Warren. And then that is Christina Parcell's face.
And is this one of the photos that was in the packages that
Yes,
we
sir.
reviewed?
Yes, sir.
And in this particular photo, is the URL belladonna-giorno-escort.site.com on there?
No, sir.
It's nowhere to be seen.
No, sir.
And I'll go here, best I can. Is that sent with Proton Mail? Sent with Proton Mail?
Yes, sir.
It's a secure email.
Yes, sir.
And then finally, how is it signed?
So that's John Mello's email signature.
All right, can you go through those for us?
Yes, sir. At the top, he's got an address for Milestone Sound in New York City. He lists himself as a house producer and a vocalist with phone numbers. Then he's got an address in South Carolina and Atlanta, Georgia, Torn and Frayed Productions with a P.O. box here in Greenville. And then he's got addresses in Europe and one down there in Italy. What I will note is that the +39 number that ends in 0041, that is the number he was using to communicate through WhatsApp with Mr. Hughes,
And how do you know that?
through reviewing the WhatsApp messages.
So you reviewed WhatsApp messages off of Zach Hughes' phone?
Yes, sir.
And did you confirm that that number right there was the number used by John Mello?
Yes, sir.
Investigator Wolf, did you also, let me do this real quick just to make sure the record's clean. I'm going to show you Exhibit 6A marked for identification purposes only, and just get you to confirm that that is one of the photos that was on that email.
Yes, sir, it is.
So 6A was one of the photos on that email.
Yes, sir.
And in this email, is there a http://belladongiano.escort.com?
Yes, sir.
And then what about 6D?
That is the first photo in the email.
All right. And does that have a website, belladongiano-escort.com?
Yes, sir.
And did you notice the font difference between these two?
Yes, sir.
Not for me, Michelle. I'm not seeing them double now. Have a great day at work today, Kel.
And those photos were found in numerous of these envelopes, lots of these envelopes.
Yes, sir.
It wasn't just State's Exhibit 6. They were all scattered. They were all through the all the envelopes that were received.
That's correct.
All right. Now, did you have the occasion to get Verizon tolls for Zach Hughes' phone?
Yes, sir.
Why did you do that?
I knew that some of these packages had been mailed out from Greenville and others had been mailed out from Tennessee. So I wanted to know where he was on the dates the packages were mailed.
And so how do you go about getting phone records or phone tolls, and why would you get them?
So we get a search warrant, and then we get them to know where he was at a particular date and time.
And who do you send the search warrant off to?
It's going to be the service provider for that particular individual.
And did you know the service provider for the phone for Zach Hughes?
I believe it was Verizon.
And how did you learn that?
Once we have a person's phone number, we can just research that phone number. We were able to get his phone number through the phone extraction after it was seized at 200 Tyndall.
And did you send a search warrant off to Verizon for, I guess you call them phone tolls, phone records?
Phone tolls, yes, sir.
Tolls. What is a phone toll?
Phone tolls cover anything from you called this person at this particular time, you received this phone call, you get text messages, your phone transmits data through whatever network. And anytime you're connecting to that tower, they know an approximate location where you're at. Not exactly where you stand, but you are connected to a tower, usually the closest tower that has the best signal.
I'm going to show you State's Exhibit. $169. Ask you if you recognize it.
Yes, sir. That's the thumb drive that has Mr. Hughes' cell phone tolls on it.
Your Honor, State moves 169 into that.
No objection.
Objection, 169.
Anything else? Now, do you know exactly when John Mello returned back to the United States?
It was shortly after Christina Parcell was murdered. I don't know the exact date, sir.
Do you know where he arrived when he came back?
Charlotte.
And was he arrested?
Yes, sir.
Did he have a warrant on him?
Yes, sir.
What was the warrant?
Custodial interference.
And so he was arrested there. Was he brought back to the law enforcement center?
No, he was kept in custody in Charlotte and then released.
Are you aware do you know if John Mello had a cell phone on him when he arrived back from Italy?
We were told by the authorities in North Carolina that he was not found in possession of a cell phone.
And about October 22nd, sound about right?
Sounds about right, sir.
Please answer any questions Mr. Moore may have.
Yes, sir.
Investigator Wolf, you just testified about the custodial interference warrant that John Mello had.
Yes, sir.
And isn't it true he was exonerated of that charge?
Yes, sir, it is.
You've asked a lot of questions about the websites in the mail on direct examination. Isn't it true that when that website was actually up, you didn't see that website? Is that right?
That's correct.
And so it is it's very possible that when that was up, that website is it true that it's possible that website had photographs of Christina Parcell in the nude art? Isn't that true?
Yes, sir.
And isn't it true that that website was a vehicle for advertising prostitution? Isn't that true?
Yes, sir.
Isn't it true that people engaged in illegal activity online often use aliases?
Yes, sir.
Nothing else, Your Honor.
Quick question, Your Honor. You can't say one way or the other whether that website was actually active or not.
No, sir, I can't. It was August of 2023 when I became involved in that case.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Nothing further, Your Honor.
I think now is a wonderful time to take a break. Again, I will just remind you that discussion is
All right, so they are taking a break. Hold on just a second. So they're taking their break. They're taking their break, you guys. Oh my goodness. Donnie says, was the daughter with him? At what point in time? Donnie, do you mean? At what point in time? Brenda says, I was going to say there is no tangible evidence that dictates that site was true and used by anyone other than the harasser. Right. Well, and the guy said specifically that when he went to it, the site was no longer, like it wasn't even a working site. So, you know. I don't know. You guys, I snuck something in on the screen right under your nose, and no one has noticed it yet. Are y'all paying attention? Are y'all paying attention? Michelle got it. Took you long enough. Morgana said she saw it. Miss King sees it. Cynthia sees it. Margaret sees it. Okay. Okay. Well, Brenda, you get a pass, ma'am, if you don't have your glasses on. You get a pass. You get a pass. All right. We're about 20-ish minutes behind. So I'm going to go ahead and scroll on through this brief break of theirs. And get back to it. I wonder who that gray-headed man is. I wonder who he is. The guy in the red jacket that like ushers everybody to the witness stand reminds me of like an usher at those fancy movie theaters. Telling you, that is Dustin Hoffman's twin right there, that defense attorney. I wonder if he knows he has a bald spot on the back of his head. Like, does his wife have the heart to tell him, you know? Yeah, we do a lot of zoom, 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 and a boom, boom. Just shank your rump. Do the Humpty Hump. Ooh, doo, 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 doo. There he is, Mr. America, looking so fancy pantsy. I'll say I've said it once, twice, 15 times. I'll say it again. He's got beautiful hair. Really pretty hair.
Okay.
Ready?
State's ready.
We're ready. Thank you. Please bring the jury.
Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah. We'll have it after lunch.
Margaret said, I'm sure he does when the rain hits it. Is he married, or did she notice and she left him before telling him, leaving that ordeal to take care of for the next mate? I don't know. Donnie, honey, are you behind? Are you behind, Donnie? I love you so much. Margaret needs more coffee, but the coffee maker's by that fridge in the break room. And for those of you that are new to the channel, Margaret is our pretty little blonde bombshell of the group.
Sir, thank you.
And she happens to get stuck under refrigerators. It's a thing with her. I don't know how else to explain it other than this right here. That's the best way I can explain it to you. So the story goes, Margaret got stuck under the refrigerator by her arm while her husband, you know, just comes home from work and makes himself a sandwich, and he's like, well, honey, what are you doing down there on the floor, honey. All the meanwhile, we have Margaret's favorite felon, Ashley Benefield, and her photograph up there as a magnet on the refrigerator. And Margaret also likes Tommy Tippy sippy cups. And my version of the story is that her Tommy Tippy sippy cup fell down and got lodged under the refrigerator. Margaret has to get down to get it and get stuck. But anyway, it's a whole thing with Margaret. It's a whole thing. Hello and welcome, Akasha. Welcome. Hello from Gossip, Rumor, and Innuendo. Welcome to the chat. Welcome. No, just an observation. Did you not hear me say that like 3 minutes before you said it? Oh my gosh. It's always readily available, honey. Cynthia, yeah, that's a complete joke from me. You're right. There's absolutely nothing wrong with bald or balding men. I won't tell him, but my husband's getting a little bit thin back there too. But I don't have the heart to tell him. The story changes every time. She's a spiller, Michelle, so that probably wouldn't be a good idea. She does spill things. Donnie, yeah, rewind it, honey. I literally said that. And then you came right behind and said the same thing. And I'm like, great minds, get out of my brain, Donnie. Get out of my brain and into my car. Hey, Rise of Phoenix, welcome. All right, you guys, I'm sorry. We took a brief detour. Let's get to it. Can't handle the awkward silence. Can't handle it. Let's go. There we
Do you
go.
solemnly swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Ooh, he has on a pretty tie. That's pretty.
I'm Charlie Cunningham.
Investigator Cunningham, can you please tell the jury a little bit about where you work and what your role is with them?
Sure. I work with the Greenville County Sheriff's Office, and currently I'm assigned to the Greenville County Intelligence Unit. I work for the Greenville County Sheriff's Office, and I currently work within the Intelligence Unit, and I've been with the Sheriff's Office since early of 2008.
What do you do specifically with the intelligence unit?
Specifically, we collect digital forensics information, various types of electronic evidence, and we assist in investigations both locally and assist in investigations with state law enforcement and federal law enforcement.
When you speak of electronic evidence, what format does that usually come to you in?
Typically, it can come by way of cellular telephone extractions, computer extractions, telephone data that would come from a cell phone provider, or electronic records that may come from an internet service provider as well.
And when you say cell phone extraction, can we break that down a little bit on what exactly that means from your role?
Sure. If a cellular device happens to be seized by law enforcement and a warrant obtained to look into that data on that device, We would then use tools that are specifically utilized to connect to that device and extract out whatever contents the device may contain, and then generate a report for us that we would then analyze and review with the investigator.
When you say tools, and specifically related to or cell phones, what tools do you typically use when you do an extraction of a cell phone?
The most common tools that we use are Celebrite and Gray Key, as well as PinLink from an analytical standpoint. But
And in using those, does it require training, some education on how to navigate those programs?
sure, I began receiving training earlier in my investigative career, peer training with Cellbrite. I later went on to Cellbrite School, as well as some PinLink hosted schools, varying places of continuing education on how to operate and stay up to date with current techniques.
And to expand on this a little bit more, when you use one of these programs, Cellbrite or Grayshift or PenLink, are you interpreting the data it provides, or how does that process work?
In layman's terms, I would explain it like it's. You can think of it like a digital camera. You turn the hardware and software on, make a connection with it. Essentially, you're pointing it towards what you want to capture, and you follow its instructions, and it begins to retrieve whatever it can, whatever it's capable of retrieving, and then we review the information that it puts out in front of us. It could be telephone calls, messages, photos, location data. There's varying amounts of data that could be observed.
To your knowledge, are these programs those that are generally used by law enforcement, at least locally or more broadly?
It's my understanding and experience that these same capabilities are used worldwide by law enforcement.
And in your time in this specific role, approximately how many of these extractions specific to cell phones have you conducted?
Several thousand.
Were you tasked with doing extractions on cell phones in the present case?
Yes, I was.
What phones specifically?
There was a varying host of cell phones that I was provided with and performed extractions on.
I'll narrow it down for you. So State's Exhibit 112. Show you State's Exhibit 112.
Sure.
What is 112?
112. This is the packaging. It contains a cell phone labeled with the item number CN1 and the case number from the Grimm County Sheriff's Office for the cell phone of Zachary Hughes.
Is that a cell phone that you did an extraction on?
It is.
Okay. Did you get any information as well from the victim, Christina Parcells' phone?
Yes. Yes.
Did you find what phone number she had that was pertinent to this case?
There was several phone numbers that we learned that was in use by Miss Parcell. One of those being 5742. It ended in 5742.
Is it 5142?
Yeah, 5142. I'm sorry, my notes are a little scattered. We referred to that as it was referred to as the clone phone.
Okay. So, in conducting the extraction of State's Exhibit 112, I believe it is.
Oh, you guys remember the clone phone? That's the phone that the post dude gave her. Remember he said that he just did the clone phone to make sure she got home safe at night. Had you ever heard of Live 360 Come on. Also, he said he used it to help her pay bills. A clone phone.
Do you hook it up to a computer?
Yes.
And is that how those programs take effect?
Yes.
Okay. What kind of activity or what kind of data can you extract from?
Chrissy says, what's a clone phone? So apparently a clone phone is basically just that. It's a clone of a phone. So it's like a mirror, like you have a phone and I have a phone. And if I clone your phone, basically I have a mirror image of your phone. Or the exact, not what mirror image wouldn't be right, but basically everything on your phone is on my phone. I can see everything on your phone. So that's kind of what that is. To me, it's a little bit, what would the word, like, crazy pants? I don't know. Sorry, I keep turning my camera off because kiddo keeps trying to pop her little head in here. But yeah, I don't know that it's an app. It's a whole nother phone. But I don't know how you make it do that. You know what I'm saying? But my reason, I think, allegedly, why he would have a clone phone is because he is probably wanting whatever videos and photos and stuff she gets on her phone, he wants right away. Like he wants the Pedialyte popcorn stuff right quick, fast, and in a hurry. Like he can't wait 5 minutes, in my opinion. And to keep tabs on her, probably.
From a cell phone?
Depending on how much is on a cell phone, a great deal. Cell phones are much like a computer in terms of what they can access and store internally. The data can store telephone calls and messages and emails, internet search history, photos, third-party applications that are accessible through the internet. A great deal of information can be extracted from a cell phone, and in these particular cell phones, a great deal typically was extracted.
And is it through these programs that you view this particular information?
In the program in which it's extracted with, like Celebrite, yes.
So could you speak generally to when you're extracting a cell phone, to what kind of data you can receive initially without opening it, without having a passcode, anything? Can you still receive data from it?
Sure, you can. Some of the initial information that you could receive about a cell phone, without getting too in depth into the extraction, is if the device has been programmed with a name, for instance, John Doe's cell phone. That cell phone number that device is using, oftentimes those are some of the first pieces of information that are present for us to see and observe.
Okay. And then after a phone is, let's say opened with a passcode, does it continue to pull data and information?
It can, yes.
Okay. And to this specific phone, States 112, how was it brought to you to analyze? Or I should say, who brought it to you to analyze?
I believe that Investigator John Garrett brought me this cell phone while a search warrant was being executed at 200 Tyndall Avenue, where I understood Zachary Hughes to reside.
Okay. So you did, in fact, conduct an extraction on States 112. Is that right?
That's correct.
Did you perform an extraction before the phone opened and after the phone opened?
Yes, sir, I did.
I'm going to show you what is State's Exhibit 172. Showing you States 172. Do you recognize States 172?
Yes, sir, I do.
What is it?
It's a USB thumb drive where I put the raw data that was extracted from this device, both before and after the passcode had been discovered.
Have you had a chance to review the contents of 172 and confirm that that is what's on this device?
Yes.
Your Honor, at this time the state moves into evidence State's Exhibit 172.
No objection, Your Honor.
So speaking to this extraction you conducted on Mr. Hughes' phone, when you initially begin this extraction process, what kind of data were you able to receive from that phone?
When I initially received the phone, it was turned on, it was powered on, and it was passcode locked. Using the software that we used at the time, I began the process utilizing GrayKey. This is an Apple iPhone, and GrayKey did the best job at extractions with those type devices, specifically those that were passcode locked. I plugged it into the machine and I allowed it to begin to examine the device. It quickly gave me preliminary information like the cell phone number, the type of phone that it was, and that some data could be extracted immediately, and that it was capable of brute forcing the passcode. And what brute forcing means is that it will begin a process of attempting to decrypt what that passcode may be. And there's many different processes that software may utilize, but it gives me the option to command it to either begin processing the passcode, begin working on decrypting that passcode, or go ahead and extract data to review right now. And that's what I chose to do was to command it to go ahead and retrieve whatever data that it could, and then work on the passcode.
So when you're using a GrayKey or a Cellbrite, and you want to, I guess, present the information in a deliverable form, how do you do that?
The raw data that is extracted initially is then uploaded into a program called Physical Analyzer. That Physical Analyzer program is software that is built and engineered by Cellbrite, the same software that may pull the data, but it essentially takes all the raw files that it's able to extract, and it begins to put it back into an order that we could look at on a computer, similarly to how it might maybe looked at on a cell phone device. It will give us options and folders that are in categories like pictures and images and telephone calls and text messages and internet search history. It makes it a little more convenient for an investigator or for an analyzation of that data to look in the direction of what it is that you're looking for.
So using a Cellbrite, are you able to account for times and dates that items were sent or stored or recorded?
More often than not, yes.
Okay. And using those programs, do you create reports from them, or do they create reports for you?
Yes, reports can be created. Generally, we're always going to create a report of whatever data that we extracted, and that report will contain essentially everything that is known. It can be categorized, And even the data that the software is not capable of understanding, although it extracted it, it will just place it over in another folder that's just known as uncategorized data. And then we can further build reports off of the initial main report for individual things like telephone calls or text messages or location data.
Were you able to create some reports using Cellbrite and GrayKey specifically from Mr. Hughes' phone?
Yes, I was.
If I showed them to you, would you recognize them?
Yes.
I'm going to show you what is State's Exhibit 170 and 171. I'll show you 70, 171. Could you identify these two items for me?
Sure. The State's Exhibit 171 is a GrayKey progress report.
Hey, and welcome M-Stone 518. They say, hi, first time here. Kathy at Gossip, Innuendo, and Rumors told me about your channel. Hey, and welcome. Kathy is sending so many new faces over here. That's so cool. Thank you, Kathy, again. If you see this, thank you so much. And thank you, M-Stone, for coming and hanging out. We're a good group of people over here. I'll tell you that much. Ween Baby said, well, I had to order a new phone, which means I had to order another case and another screen. I don't know what that word is. God forbid they kind of keep the same design. Gotcha. Let me see. She's back dropping the brown hearts. Thank you, Gossip, Rumor, and Innuendo. Margaret got her coffee, did not get stuck. Good deal. I went in there and grabbed myself. One of the kids needed something, and then I went in there, and while I was in there fixing him a sandwich, I grabbed myself a spoonful. Anybody ever just get hungry, but they ain't got time to stop and fix nothing? So there's sometimes nothing better than just a spoonful of peanut butter. Just a spoonful of peanut butter. And then I'm good to go. All right. So, you're finally caught up. Yeah, it's been a little bit of boring stuff today. Like, why do they have to take 2 hours to go through the contents of those envelopes? Literally, they could have just said, these things were found in this one, and this one, and this one, and this one envelopes. Like, now I want DiGiorno's for lunch, right? There you go. Up in the top right-hand corner, grab yourself a slice of, I believe that is sausage and pepperoni. Rising crust. DiGiorno. A peanut butter spoon. Yes, I love peanut butter. It's my quick snack. That or like a slice of cheese. Just something I can grab quick. You know. All right, we'll get back to it.
Report, and this is a progress report that GrayKey makes available of the raw data that extracted. When that extraction takes place, anything that's known as a target device is the device that we actually have plugged into the computer that we've commanded it to extract data from, and it will identify what it can recognize of this device, like the type, the model, serial or telephone numbers that are utilized on it, email addresses, various Wi-Fi IDs and Bluetooth IDs and MAC addresses, as well as an event log of when certain amounts of data, or when processes were taking place with the extraction itself.
So that is essentially an overview of what Reiki produced?
Yes.
correct? Okay.
Yes, sir.
And then what about 171?
171 is a Celebrite report. This would have came by way of physical analyzer. It's an extraction report for an Apple iOS full file system extraction.
Does it, what
And I can,
information does that produce?
this one in particular is, I can tell that it's an extraction report specific to what user accounts may have been located on that device. And I can see that the user accounts, Facebook, email, I can tell that this is the user accounts created from Mr. Hughes' cell phone.
Your Honor, this time the state moves into evidence 170 and 171.
No objection.
No objection, 170, 171.
Investigator Cunningham, bringing your attention to that Cellbrite user accounts report, what is the email associated with all of those accounts?
I can see that there's several. One is zachary.david.hughes@gmail.com.
So were you able to corroborate that email with the emails that were returned from Google and the material that they provided for Mr. Hughes?
Yes, sir.
When you're conducting this initial extraction, were you able to receive data on messages that were exchanged from that phone?
Yes, sir, I was.
And from what medium were those, or the vast majority of those messages pertinent to this case, shared with you?
The vast majority, I would say, came from an application known as WhatsApp, as well as Facebook Messenger and the regular messaging.
Were you able to create a report on WhatsApp's, or let me back up. Did you find some WhatsApp conversation or WhatsApp exchange from that States 112 and a John Mello on WhatsApp?
Yes.
Were you able to create a report specifically for that conversation?
Yes, I was.
And if I showed you the first page of that report, would you recognize it?
Yes.
Let me show you what it states, 173.
I just need y'all to hurry up and tell me that that was her DNA on that bicycle, and then talk about his DNA under her fingernails. That's all I want.
States 173. What is that?
This is one of many pages from the extraction report from Mr. Hughes' phone of a WhatsApp message specifically between Mr. Hughes and John Mello, John Mello's WhatsApp number, which I recognize, and there's a photograph of Mr. Hughes also in that message.
Do you recognize Mr. Mello's number, at least from one angle from the email exchanges between Mr. Mello and Mr. Hughes?
Yes. Yes, I can see that the number is the same number that we observed in the Gmail data that was received back.
And I believe the first message there, does Mr. Hughes, or does Mr. Hughes' name identified there in one of the messages?
Yes, it is. It shows that Zachary Hughes as the owner of the message.
Okay. Is his picture on top?
Yes, it is.
Your Honor, this time the state moves in evidence, states 173. Sure.
No objection.
Objection, so before he comes in.
Let's start from the top here. Is this the report that was generated for the WhatsApp conversation between Mr. Hughes and Mr. Mello?
Yes, sir, it was.
Is that the picture you're referring to, the top left of 173? Is
Yes, sir, it is.
that Mr. Hughes in that picture?
Yes, sir.
And then as to this first message, in the blue there, where it says, it's John Zach. How is Zach spelled?
Z-A-C-K.
Is that significant at all in reviewing these messages?
It is. I remember a time when I believe I read a message earlier on where Mr. Hughes was his name was used as Zach, but spelled differently, and it was corrected by Mr. Hughes in reply that it was a K.
Z-A-C-K.
Yes, sir.
What's the date on the very first message there?
October the 7th, 2020.
And this red X that's in both of these messages, what does that mean?
That's indicative of a recovered deleted message. So that's it's a symbol placed on a message that was deleted data that was recovered with the forensic software.
So approximately, how many messages were you able to review exchanged between Mr. Hughes and Mr. Mello, beginning with this message on October 7th of 2020?
I believe it was maybe in excess of 1,000. It was a great deal.
So when's the last message on WhatsApp to date between Mr. Mello and Mr. Hughes?
October the 13th, 2021.
Investigator Cunningham, in conducting your extraction of the cell phone, approximately how long did it take to, let's say, crack Mr. Hughes' phone as to the password?
Around 2 years in total from beginning to break that passcode to the point in which it did successfully break that passcode.
Thank you, Investigator Cunningham. I have no further questions for you.
Yes, sir.
All set?
May it please the court. Investigator Cunningham, you testified on direct examination that you were asked to analyze or conduct numerous cell phone extractions in this case. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And I want to talk to you about a cell phone extraction that they didn't ask you about. Isn't it true that the lead investigator in this case was Investigator Sparkman? Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And isn't it true that during the course of his investigation in this case, Investigator Sparkman seized a phone that belonged to, or more than one phone, that belonged to Brad Post? Isn't that true?
Yes.
I'm sorry, and could you speak up? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm sorry, yes,
That's
sir.
right.
Yes, sir.
And isn't it true that you, pursuant to a search warrant, you conducted an extraction of at least one cell phone that Investigator Sparkman seized from Brad Post? Isn't that true?
Yes.
And isn't it true that this occurred in October of 2021? Isn't that true?
Yes, sir.
And isn't it true that this occurred after the passing of Christina Parcell? Isn't that true?
Yes, sir.
And isn't it true after you conducted an extraction of Brad Post's cell phone, you contacted a member of the Greenville County Sheriff's Office?
Objection, Judge. Based on your previous ruling, this line of
You-
questioning is improper.
Your Honor, this,
Overruled.
thank you.
Watch.
Yes, Your Honor. Isn't it true that you contacted Investigator Wayne Arnett with the Greenville County Sheriff's Office after you conducted the extraction? Isn't that true?
I did not contact him, but I'm aware that other investigators were contacted, yes.
And isn't it true that your extraction was made available to Investigator Wayne Arnett? Isn't that true?
I believe so, yes, sir.
And isn't it true that the extraction you conducted pursuant to a search warrant of Brad Post's cell phone fairly and accurately represented the contents of that cell phone as it existed in October of 2021? Isn't that true?
Yes, sir.
One second.
Lindsay, I'm not sure. Sorry, I've been in the background grabbing links and doing things. You know what? I'm not sure. Did they send the jury out? Did they send the jury out and I missed it? Did I miss something? Hi, KDC. Welcome, welcome. And welcome, Lindsay. I'm not sure. Because like I said, my brain, I can't do two things at once. So I was back here. Jury is in what? Oh, they're in. I'm so confused. They didn't send the jury, so they're hearing this. Okay, they're in. Okay. All right, well, we'll get back to it. I'm going to turn my hearing ears, my listening ears on now.
Cunningham remainers.
Yes, Your Honor. Investigator Cunningham, it's safe to say you downloaded several phones in relation to your duties in this case. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Did you download Michael Manigault's phone?
Yes, sir.
Did you download an Alex Field's phone?
Yes, sir.
Did you download Christina Parcell's phone?
Yes, sir.
Is that standard where electronic evidence is being gathered in any given case where it's needed?
Yes, it is.
I have no further questions for you.
I'll give you brief thoughts.
Just very briefly, Investigator Cunningham, you were asked about extractions of other people's phones. Did say Michael Manigault's extraction, did that extraction make its way to investigator Wayne Arnett?
I believe they were all made available to the investigators that investigated this case. I couldn't speak to specifics if one versus the other was unavailable. I believe them all to be similarly available.
But you know that you testified earlier that your extraction post device made its way to Wayne Arnett. You testified that earlier, isn't that correct?
It's my understanding that it did, yes, sir.
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Can you reread it, Brad?
Nothing from the state.
All right, you may step down.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, sir.
Apparently not.
How are we looking?
This is about 2030, 2030.
Oh. They stress me out.
Your Honor, state calls FBI agent Matt Wild.
Matt Wild. That's a great last name considering this trial is wild. Jeez.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Please state your name for the record.
My name is Matthew Wild.
Wild. Katie says, Crime Cafe, I love your accent. I think I'll be a regular here from now on. That's cute. Thank you. I'm glad. They are dropping stuff left and right. And I'm just worried that they're going to... The judge already said yesterday, nope. Again. Second time he said nope. But the defense is going to be like, can we crack it open a little bit more? Can we just crack that door? Okay. Okay, here we go now.
All right, Agent Wild, who do you work for?
I work with the FBI.
And how long have you been with the FBI?
Almost 15 years.
All right, so are you an agent, special agent?
I am. Right now I'm a supervisory special agent. And I was an agent until at the regular agent level.
You've
from
got some Pepe Le
until,
Pew stuff going on with the
2021.
dark hair and the gray sideburns.
And currently with the FBI, what are your main duties?
So right now I supervise a group of agents and task force officers with the cellular analysis survey team. And what our unit does is analyze historical records from phone carriers, specifically for location data. And so I supervise that group, and then I also do some of that work myself.
Now, in regards to your educational background, can you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. So I have a bachelor's degree in business administration with a concentration in accounting from Limestone College in Gaffney. And then I attended the South Carolina Criminal Justice Academy, the FBI Academy, and then I've attended additional training in relation to historical cell phone analysis as well.
All right, so
Before we get too deep into this testimony, I do want to stop real quick, and I want to go back up because I do not want to miss this opportunity to remind you guys, okay? Alexa better not be over here trying to do something, because now my phone and my little Alexa over there on my nightstand, they need to mind their own business. So, don't forget, this Sunday, 6:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Tanika's 2 Cents will be live, okay? This Sunday, the 16th. And she's going to have Sarah Boone's ex-cellmate on her stream. And I cannot wait for it. Okay? So, please make sure that you click the link in the chat and that you go over there and at least click the little like notify me, you know, because I'm sure you guys are already subscribed. But just make sure you click that little notify me thing. Set an alarm on your phone if you have to. Do not miss this. Because, oh my God, I cannot wait for that. I cannot wait. Also, I want to, while Kathy is in here from Gossip, Rumor, and Innuendo, I really want to say thank you, Kathy. I really, really appreciate you sending your folks over here. I appreciate that. That you, gave them the heads up about our channel over here. We're small, we're growing, and, I appreciate whenever people, let their people know about me and my people over here. So, anyway, I just wanted you to know that I really super duper appreciate it. And thank you for that. If you're not already, which I'm sure you are, subscribed, make sure to hit the second link of hers that I put in the chat, because I think the first time I got too wordy and it broke the link. So that's the link you will want to click. Now we'll get on back down here to it. Let me make sure I didn't miss anything important in the chat. La la la. Okay. Gossip says, your people tell me about you. Oh. Well, there you go. Very cool. And my people love me then. Oh, my goodness. All right. Okay. We'll get back to it. Let's go.
So in relation to historical cell phone analysis, what kind of education experience do you have?
Yeah, so in 2012, I went to a course. It was a CAST basic course where we learned how to read phone records that we get from Verizon, AT&T, or T-Mobile. We learned how to read those, compare the records to a list of all the cell phone towers, and then generate a very basic map to demonstrate where on Earth a device, generally where it's located in and at a certain date and time. And so I took that class in 2012. I used that technique in every one of my cases between 2012 and 2016, where I worked violent crime I was actually in the Baltimore field office, and I worked violent crime, working bank robberies and armored car robberies and all kinds of other things. And then in 2016, I was selected to go to the advanced CAST course, which is a week long, where we take a deeper dive into the records. We had a test at the end of that course. I passed, and I was selected to go to the CAST certification course. At that time, it was 4 weeks. The first week was about radio frequency theory. So we learned about how radio waves travel between a phone and the antennas on the towers. The second week, we met with each one of the carriers. So we meet with Sprint, Verizon, AT&T, T-Mobile. We get to talk to their records custodians. Those are the people that provide us the records. We also got to speak with their network engineers. Those are the people that design and maintain the network. The third week, we did drive testing. So I have a piece of equipment I can put in my car, I can drive around a cell phone tower, and I can tell how far that tower reaches. And then the fourth week, we did a moot court exercise where we were given a real case. We had to read the records, generate a map, go out, do a drive test, and then testify to it in court. And at the conclusion of that, I was certified as a CAST agent. Now, every year since then, from 2016 until 2024, I've attended the CAST recertification course, which is usually 3 to 4 days, where we go back and meet with all the carriers. We get updates on the technology. And so I've attended that every year since I've been certified.
So you're referring to CAST. Can you tell the jury what CAST stands for and what it means?
Yeah, so CAST is the Cellular Analysis Survey Team. And so our team is about, I think we're between 80 and 90 agents and task force officers located around the country, sometimes in different parts of the world. And again, we focus on learning and analyzing these records and using them in cases.
So can you give this jury an example of how you would use cell phone data that you would receive and how that helps determine a location.
Yeah, so I mean, a perfect example is like a missing person. A lot of times we get involved in missing persons cases, and we will go to the carrier and request the telephone records from them for the person that's missing. And then so we'll analyze those records. They give us a date and a time when the phone was used, as well as the tower and the sector, which gives us a general area of where the phone was used at. And then we're able to kind of direct resources into that area to try to locate that person's car, locate that person's, that person, or God forbid we have to locate their remains. We do that on a daily basis.
And so is basically, are you as good as the data that you receive from the carrier?
Absolutely.
And is there better data than some in relation to finding a more specific location versus a broad location?
Yes, it just kind of, it's one of those things, it varies between the carrier, the time range you get the records in, all the types of data kind of vary between each one of those things.
And how do you actually do the analyzation?
So the records come electronically, usually in an Excel file or a text file. And so what we do, or what I do, is I take those records and I upload them into a Google-based mapping system. And then I can snip and make maps to display the general area where the phone was located at those times.
Now, in addition to using cell tower, or cell phone tolls, or cell phone tower information as to a specific phone, can you use the actual phone itself to help determine locations of that phone?
I can. So sometimes when a phone is downloaded, location data is obtained off of that device. It's processed through Graykey or Cellbrite, and then I can use some of that data in what I do to historically locate where that phone was during the time that we're interested in.
About how many times have you downloaded or analyzed cell phones?
So the downloading and analyze cell phones, probably 40 to 50 times. I have downloaded hundreds of phones. The analyzation of the location data, probably 40 to 50 times.
And how many times have you been qualified as an expert?
Over 150 times.
The state moves to qualify Special Agent Matt Wild as an expert in call detail record analysis and cellular technology. Call detail record analysis and cellular technology.
Hi and welcome, Monica.
He will be qualified as an expert in call detail.
Of course, you won't hear this for like 2 more hours, but I'll type it in the chat too.
Ladies and gentlemen, normally a person cannot give opinion testimony, and when a person testifies, they must testify as to what they either saw, or they heard, or they sensed by smell. However, there is an exception when someone is qualified because of education or experience, and they are permitted to give their opinion in certain areas if the court qualifies them that way. This witness will be qualified in the area of call detail record analysis and cellular technology. To give an opinion testimony in this area, however, that does not mean that you must accept the opinion, but it is evidence for you to use in any way you see fit and give the weight and credibility that you believe is appropriate. Please proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Agent Wild, were you asked to help analyze the data location, cell phone data location, and cell phone of Zach Hughes?
Yes.
So how did you obtain the information? Well, what information did you obtain in your efforts to analyze it?
So from the solicitor's office, I obtained the phone records in electronic format, as well as the cell phone download was in an electronic format. And then with the download, I had to go in and pull out the location data so I could look at it and do what I do with it.
And as far as pulling it from the cell phone, what software do you rely on to help you read that information?
I used Cellbrite. I believe it's called Cellbrite Reader. It's just like it's another version of Cellbrite Physical Analyzer.
And what does Cellbrite Reader do?
So it grabs the raw data and it kind of processes it, or it does process it into a usable format. And again, it splits it out. So if we just have like a big bucket of data, it just spits it out into images, text, I just said images, pictures, videos, text messages, phone call logs, location data. It just kind of splits it out into all those categories. So I took the raw data, I put it in Cellbrite, and then I took the location data and then I exported that out because that's really what I was focusing on.
And then when you look at the exported location data in this particular case, do you just take it at its word, or do you do some underlying analysis to verify its authenticity?
Oh no, you can't just take it at its word. So the location data is sourced from multiple different places on the phone, depending on what kind of applications you have running or the user has running. So it kind of splits it out into different chunks, and there's different parts that are more reliable than other types. And so I try to focus on the most reliable data set that I can.
Now, in preparation for your testimony today, did you create a PowerPoint describing what you did?
Yes, sir.
With the cell phone data from Zach Hughes and actually the download of Zachary Hughes' cell phone?
Yes, sir.
All right. I'm going to show you. States Exhibit 174. And see if you recognize that.
Yes, sir. This is the thumb drive with my report on it.
State moves 174 into evidence.
No objection.
No objection, 174.
All right, well, we're going to throw this up on the screen right here. I'm even going to give you a laser pointer.
All right. Thank you, sir. Perfect.
And if you'll just say next slide whenever you're ready. And,
Yes, sir.
Mr. Hofer will click it for you, and
All right.
we can move on. So you prepared, is this the presentation that you prepared for this jury?
Yes, it is.
All right, and so what are you attempting to share with this, in general, with this jury?
In general, I'm going to share the general location through cell phone records and the cell phone download of the device associated with Mr. Hughes during certain time periods that are relevant to the case.
And again, so it's two pieces of data. It is Mr. Hughes' cell phone records.
Yes, sir.
To his phone, as well as his actual phone that you received the data on.
Yes,
And do you distinguish between those two in this report?
I do.
All right. Now, is there anything interesting about the cell phone data that you received in this particular report?
The cell phone records.
Cell phone records.
Yeah, so the cell phone records I received in this for this case, they're from Verizon. Usually Verizon provides a report that has the cell phone tower, so it tells me which tower is being used, and then it tells me which sector or side of the tower is being used. In this case, I think Verizon was transferring systems. They generated a different report, and that report only shows me the tower that's being used, so it's kind of demonstrated as a circle. And so when we get there, I'll explain what that means.
And before it would be almost a pie.
It would be like a wedge, yes, like a piece of pizza. All right, next one. All right, so
Oh my gosh.
slide 2, this is just the
And we have someone else now talking about pizza, like a wedge, like a pizza. I mean, I'm telling you. Oh, that's my alarm clock for kiddos math class. Uh-oh. She's got to be in front of the computer. in 5 minutes for her virtual math class. So let me look really quick and see. What is this at? About 17 minutes. So, trying to think. They have been typically going to lunch at about 1 o'clock Eastern and coming back at about 2:30 Eastern. So, I will be away from my computer until about 1:30, 1:25, 1:30ish for her math class. So, I do have another stream set up for after lunch. I've got it set on private right now just because I didn't want to make it public until I knew for sure what time. But, yeah. I think what I'm going to do is keep this stream going. If, however, they do go to lunch break while I'm with her in her virtual math class, then I will probably just end the stream here. I'll probably say goodbye to y'all in the chat and then end the stream and then drop the link for stream number 2. Okay? So you guys can come back at whatever time they are supposed to come back from lunch. So I may go ahead and drop that now, that link now. I'll make it public, but I will, depending on when they go to lunch, I may have to change the time. I've got it currently set to start at 2:30, but like I said, I might have to change that. Hold on just a second. Let me grab this link. It's set to private right now, though. Hold on. Let me go in and change it to make it public. Edit, schmedit, edit, schmedit. Day 3, part 2. Public. Save. All right, let me refresh this and then I will give you guys the link. The link. Copy. All right. All right now. Baby, it's all right now. Okay, part 2 after lunch. Here is that link. Okay, all right, good to go. Thank you, Margaret. Margaret says, welcome to all our new friends at Crime Cafe. Please like, share, subscribe, and be part of the best cafe on the internets and learn all about the clumsiest moderator on the YouTubes, which would be Margaret. True story. True story. Okay, I think I got everything. All right, so if I don't see you back here in this stream before they go to lunch, then I will see you after lunch on the second stream that I just put a link to, okay? Love you guys. Make sure to hit the thumbs up before you leave here after a while, if you do leave. And hashtag replay and all those things, okay? All right. I'll see you either in a little bit or in a lot of bit, like after lunch. Bye.
The background of the case and my methodology. So, the first paragraph describes that I was asked by the solicitor's office to help with this case in reference to an incident that occurred on October 13th, 2021. My methodology I've already talked about. I take the records that I get from the carrier, compare that to a list of cell phone towers here using the tower list that was in effect during 2021. And then I generated a map to display the general area where the devices were located. And then my conclusions are further down in the report. Next slide. This is an example of different cell phone towers. Most importantly is the one here on the top left. That's really most likely what you see almost anywhere in America. There's a couple important things about those. Those speaker-looking devices hanging on that tower, those are those antennas that transmit and receive a signal to and from a phone. A phone's very much like a car radio. As I drove here today, there's a tune to my favorite radio station, to my favorite frequency, and somewhere out in Greenville, there's a tower. It emits a signal. My car radio receives that signal, and I can listen to my favorite station. The difference between my car radio and my cell phone is that with my cell phone, that transfer of information has to go in two directions. It has to come from the tower to my phone, but I also have to be able to send information from my phone back to the tower. And so those are the antennas that send and receive that information. And then there's just several other examples of antennas. There you have them on the outside of buildings. Everyone's favorite is always the pine tree. And they all essentially serve the same purpose, to transmit and receive signals. Next slide. Generally, what we figure out is when I look at the records, again, it usually gives me a sector, tells me which side of the tower is being used. And so by looking at the sector and the azimuth, or the direction that sector faces, I can usually demonstrate a wedge. Here in this case, again, I don't have the sector information, so really this doesn't really matter. Next slide. You can go to the next slide. Okay, so normally I would display the sector like I would here on the top, as kind of like a piece of pizza or like a pie wedge. But here, again, I don't have any sector information, so I'm demonstrating it as a circle. I'm not saying by any means that the phone has to be within that circle. I'm just saying that that tower is within that circle, and that tower emits a signal that goes in 360 degrees direction or out from that tower. So the phone's gonna be somewhere between the tower being used and the next one in any direction around it, but closer to the one that's being used. Next slide. All right, so this is the legend for this case. So this just kind of gives you an overview of the area. And so I have a couple addresses here. The green pin up there represents 200 Tyndall Avenue in Greenville. So they're in the center of the map. The blue pin represents 799 Indian Flats Trail in Slater, Marietta, South Carolina. That's kind of up there near the South Carolina, North Carolina border. The red pin represents 122 Canebrake Drive in Greer. And then the orange pin represents 12 Blake Street in Greenville. Every one of those red dots you see on the map represent a Verizon cell phone tower. Next one. So this is showing the activity here on Verizon telephone number 864-894-0020. And it's showing the activity on June 30th, 2021 at 1:24 a.m., so 1:24 in the morning. And this is showing activity in and around in Greenville, South Carolina. Now the Verizon records here, I'm relying on the phone to be able to make and receive phone calls to obtain a record. Later on in the report, we'll have some data records that kind of help fill in some gaps.
Real quick, Your Honor, so, I'm sorry, Agent Smith, I'm going to show you States Exhibit 1, and what is the date on States Exhibit 1 up here?
Oh, the date on the top right there is Wednesday, June 2021. So June 30th, 2021.
All right, and so where was Zach Hughes' phone location on Wednesday, June 30th, 2021?
In the early morning, it was using a tower in the area of downtown Greenville. Next one. This slide, slide 9, it's showing the activity between July 4th, 2021 and July 8th, 2021. And again, the phone during that time, these are all phone calls, and the phone during that time is using towers in and around Knoxville, Tennessee.
All right, so I'm going to show you States Exhibits 2. What is the date on States Exhibit 2?
That is July 8th, 2021.
And States Exhibit 158.
is also July 8th, 2021.
And where are those mailed from?
Knoxville, Tennessee.
Both of those?
Yes, sir.
So, July 8th, 2021, Zach Hughes' phone was located in around Knoxville, Tennessee.
Yes, sir. All right, so this next slide, this is showing activity on October 11th between 9:44 a.m. and 11:18 a.m. These are data activations, so they're not phone calls, they're not text messages, they are all the other stuff that's going on a phone in the background. And so sometimes they generate a record. They tell me the cell phone tower that was being used, how long that session is, and so I'm able to demonstrate it here. And so here, between 9:44 and 11:18, you can see that phone's using towers just to the northeast and to the south of the 799 Indian Flats Trail address.
And what is that date?
That is October 11th, 2021.
So would that be consistent with Zach Hughes' phone being near 700 Indian Flats Trail?
Yes. All right, and then this next slide, so now we're showing the location data from the physical download of the phone. And so this is showing that same day, October 11th, there was a location data point right there at Indian Flats Trail between 10:06 a.m. and 10:54 a.m.
And what date is that?
That's October 11th. So it's the same date as the previous slide showing the cell site activations.
So that's 2021.
Yes, sir. Next one. So now this is October 12th, 11:14 a.m. to 12:18 p.m. Again, these are data activations, showing activations right there near Greenville Technical College, basically southeast of the 200 Tyndall Avenue address.
And that is October 12th.
Yes, sir. Next one. These are the Cellbrite. These are the location data hits off of the physical phone. Again, 10:25 a.m. to 12:23 a.m. on October 12th. And there are some specific activations showing the device near the Tyndall Avenue, specifically between 10:47 a.m. and 12:01 p.m. And then there's two others, one to the south and one to the north. Next one. This is October 12th, 2021, between 12:31 and 1:21 p.m. The first one, 12:31 to 1:07 p.m. is consistent with being in the area of Tyndall Avenue. And then the second one at 1:18 to 1:21 is consistent with being at 12 Blake Street in Greenville.
Were you ever made aware of the significance of 12 Blake Street?
I did. I understand that's Mr. Mello's address. Next one. So now the next one is, this is showing, again, October 12th, between 1:59 p.m. and 2:34 p.m. So again, these are all data hits, and you can see the phone's using towers to the north of Greenville, not quite all the way to Marietta at that time. And then the next activation, voice call, is on October 14th, and the next activation is on October 14th.
Okay, say that again. So, in regards to voice data, you have it on October 12th.
I do.
And then when's the next voice call?
On October 14th.
And what is a voice call? What does that mean?
So that's an incoming or outgoing call.
And is that how you receive the location data?
It is. There is some data records on October 13th that I did not include in my presentation, but they are consistent with the activity we're getting ready to see. Next one. So this is October 12th, 6:56 p.m. till October 13th, 1:30 a.m., and showing the phone consistent with being in the area of Indian Flats Trail in Marietta.
So Zach Hughes' phone, this is October 12th.
This is.
All right. And what are the dates in which he is at the Indian Flats Trail?
So this is showing the evening of the 12th into the early morning of the 13th.
So what time is the last data point for on the 13th?
1:30 a.m.
That's 1:30 in the morning.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. And then this is the next activation. This is the next activity on that download report, and it's showing 2:42 p.m. is the first the first hit, which is showing in the area of 200 Tyndall Avenue in Greenville.
All right, so the last data point that you just had up there was 1:30 in the morning of October 13th. And where was that located?
In Marietta.
Marietta. And the next data point that you have for Zach Hughes' phone or his cell phone records is at what time?
So for this phone, it's at 2:42. I did have some activations on the data side earlier, just earlier about like, I think they were like 2:34, and it was north near Furman University.
And that 2:42, would that be consistent at being a little north of downtown Greenville at 2:42?
So 2:42 would be consistent with being south of downtown Greenville.
South of south.
Yeah, 2:34 would, I believe it was 2:34. It was north of downtown Greenville. That's correct.
Okay.
Next one. And then this is showing the activity 9:07 p.m. to 4:07 a.m. on the 14th. So this is the night of the 13th going into the next day. There's activity, let's see here, 9:07 is that box up in the middle between 9:07 and 9:32. Then 9:43 to 11:13, the phone is over there to the east side of the airport. And then 11:25 p.m. on the 13th to 4:07 a.m. on the 14th, the phone is consistent with being in the area of Tyndall Avenue.
So that's the night of October 13th, 2021.
Yes, sir. Into the morning of the 14th. And next. And then these are the voice calls on the 14th. So this is 12:57 a.m. to 1:02 a.m. And you can see the phone is there over on the east side of Greenville, kind of near the airport. And that's it.
Just answer any questions.
Yes, sir.
Special Agent Wild, I want to talk to you about your expertise in cell phone technology, just in general. And that's one of the areas you've been qualified as an expert, is that correct?
Yes.
You had talked about conducting numerous downloads or extractions of cell phones in your career, is that correct?
Yes.
Were you asked to perform any analysis on a cell phone, in this case belonging to a man named Bradley Post?
I was not.
You made a comment that when you receive data, basically you never take it at face value, is that correct? Or you don't take it or assume it's accurate, is that correct?
I mean, just because we get data on a spreadsheet, location data on a spreadsheet, I don't take it 100% at its face value. There is a skill and experience and knowledge that goes into parsing through that data to find the most accurate points.
I want to talk about, in your experience analyzing cell phones, have you had an opportunity to conduct extractions involving images on cell phones?
Yes.
And images on cell phones also have data oftentimes accompanied with those images, is that correct? Or in conjunction with those images?
I mean, the image itself is data, right? But yeah, no, you go ahead.
Let me be more specific.
Okay.
Metadata. Oftentimes there is metadata associated with images on cell phones.
There could be, yes.
Will you tell the jury, what is metadata?
It could be like the date and the time the phone was taken, the device that it was used, that the device that took the picture, maybe the orientation, whether it was in landscape or portrait mode, and then possibly I've seen location data associated with those images as well.
And sometimes, depending on the cell phone extraction and the cell phone itself, you'll have some metadata, you won't have metadata, is that correct?
Correct. There's no, I wish it was more black and white as to a definitive yes or no, but unfortunately, because of the multiple types of phones out there, the multiple types of continuously changing operating systems, and then on the law enforcement side, the software that we use constantly changes. It is impossible for me to, if you presented me with a device, an operating system, and whatever we were using for me to sit here and say 100% yes, we could have got that or didn't get that off the device.
And if you were analyzing or looking at the internet, for example, there would be occasion you would have to doubt the veracity of the metadata if you had conflicting evidence. Is that true?
I don't know what you're referring
Let me
to.
give you an example.
Sure.
Let's say there's a picture of me on a cell phone that says that this picture was taken January 1 of 2021. And let's assume you know that I could not have been where the picture was taken of me of January 1, 2021. Isn't that? Under those circumstances, would you have reason to doubt the accuracy of the metadata on the phone?
I mean, that's kind of a big if, and I just generally across the board, I wouldn't really doubt the accuracy of the metadata. So, I mean, that's kind of like a huge if question, and I don't know how specifically to answer that.
So let's be specific. If you see a picture of me and the metadata says it was taken January 1 of 2021.
He's asking hypotheticals that he's not.
He's an expert in cell phone technology, Judge.
These are just made up hypotheticals without any underlying data.
It's his expertise. Thank you. So, if there's a picture of me that has metadata in a cell phone that says January 1, 2021, and you know for a fact that I could not have been at that location on January 1, 2021, would that not cause you to doubt the accuracy of that metadata?
I mean, I've never been presented with a situation like you're referencing, so I don't know how to answer the question, sir.
So you can't answer the question if there's metadata that says a picture was taken with me at a location on one date and I can't be there, you don't know how to answer that question.
I don't know how to answer that question, sir. I've never been faced with that situation, and I don't even know how I would go about answering that question accurately.
Okay. Let me ask you this. Artificial intelligence. That is something obviously that's become more prominent in recent years. You would agree with that, is that correct?
I agree.
And when you are reviewing cell phones now, are you finding the implementation of artificial intelligence in contents of these cell phones?
On a daily basis, I'm not actually reviewing multiple downloads of cell phones. I'm basically in my role and what I do, I'm focusing on the location data associated with those phones. So, if you gave me a phone today to download, I'm basically going in there, grabbing the location data and doing my thing with it. I'm not really diving into whether or not there's AI on the phone or whether or not somebody's using ChatGPT or any of that kind of stuff. So I have no experience in that measure.
So back to my question. With cell phone extractions that you're reviewing currently, are you finding evidence of the presence of AI on these phones?
Again, I'm only reviewing the location data, so I wouldn't see the presence of AI or even know what it would look like because I don't look for it. I look for the location data.
So that's. What are some reasons why metadata associated with images could be inaccurate?
I don't know.
You can't think of one reason.
No, sir.
Do you agree it's possible that metadata can be inaccurate associated with images?
Again, I don't know. I've never been faced with that, so I don't know if that could happen or not happen.
So you're telling this jury, as an expert in cell phone technology, you have no idea whether metadata associated with images can be inaccurate?
Again, I've never been faced with that situation, and so I don't know if it could be inaccurate or not. I'd expect it to be accurate. In the times I've used any kind of metadata, it has been consistent with other data sets, such as the location data associated with the phone that was taking the picture. So in my view, in the experience I have with it, it has never been inaccurate. It's always been accurate.
And how many cell phones have you analyzed?
I mean, I've downloaded hundreds of phones. But for location data, I've analyzed probably 40 to 50 phones. again, I'm not diving into the pictures on all those phones because my role specifically is to analyze the location of where the phone was located, not look at the thousands of images on the phones that I'm downloading.
So you're telling the story that in all the phones you've analyzed, you've never seen a picture on a cell phone with the wrong date?
I am focusing on the location data 99.9% of the time, so I'm not ever really looking at the photos and diving into it that deep.
Okay, I got it.
They'll be ready for him.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
See you again.
Okay.
Okay, council, come up. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to break for lunch. I'm going to ask you to return at 2 o'clock. And again, please do not discuss this among yourselves or with anybody or do any research. I know y'all heard that from me before. All right, y'all enjoy your lunch. Thank you. Hey, thank you. Thank you for staying.
Nothing, Your Honor.
Yes? No, Your Honor. Okay, I will see you on docket 2 o'clock.
Thank you.
Yeah, I need to know if that one right there is picking up, because apparently somebody said that they could hear me talk with them. I don't know if it's because this one was on or that one. Is it that one? Oh, yeah.